First of all, let me just say this, if I could, please. I think, what's most relevant as we move forward here these next 3 weeks, that is to get, we have 6 seniors, and they're on track. They haven't accomplished it yet, but to be graduates of the Air Force Academy, and that's why we're here. Now, it's neat whenever you have a game and things go well competitively, and yet we aren't going to lose sight in terms of what our obligation is to our young men and young women here. So it was a neat way for those seniors, their last game here at Falcon Stadium, and thought we played pretty solid football across the board. You look special teams defensively, and then being able to move the ball forward with our running game. So what else do we have?
Brent, go ahead.
When did you know in the week that Zeke wouldn't be able to go today?
I knew probably, it was probably about 11:15 local this morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in fact, it was probably 11:30 local. We'd been here for about probably 10 minutes at the stadium.
And where did the strategy come from to alternate quarterbacks even within a series? I had never seen you do that.
No, we haven't. You're right. We just kind of felt like there were different things that each guy would be able to do, and we wanted both those guys we wanted to get them in there just to see. We thought the earlier the better. Being able to play and run the floor a little bit, at least get some minutes, and that way, when you get out of there, sometimes you haven't played a whole lot. Being able to observe, you digest, and I think you perform a little better too.
What kind of motivation when you're breaking in two quarterbacks? I mean, obviously Warren Bryant's played, but Zach hadn't. To not even need to worry about the passing game because the running game.
We did. You're right. Like I said, the ball went downhill. I thought it was a big play right before the half there. We called timeout, and then they had the incomplete pass on 3rd down, and to be able to execute a perimeter option where Brandon showed pretty good juice there. The acceleration, and but that helps also just when some of those other factors in play, and being able to make first downs. That's one of the things I hit our offense all the time with. Man, being able to make first downs is a pretty good indicator if we're playing solid football.
I feel like penetration defensively was kind of the key to getting them behind the sticks.
It was. I think the other thing, being able to, on the opening kickoff, being able to generate a fumble. We really, we haven't had really bad plays necessarily in special teams. We just haven't had a whole lot of significant plays. Now, I shouldn't say that. I mean, we've hit a couple of key field goals. You think at Boise, Matt DePore did. He did last week on the 49-yarder. But today, being able to generate a fumble that close on the first play of the game was good.
How does that happen with 2 number 11s?
Yep, that's on us. That's inexcusable. That's on us.
And to see your players respond the way they did, obviously they probably knew the outcome of the other game, which finished right as yours was starting. To not have any letdown because of that, what is that?
Well, like we discussed it really even back on when we brought the guys in on Sunday. Is the greatest thing you can do, man, is the way you'll feel the best on Friday evening. Is if you practice hard, you prepare exceptionally well all week long, and then you play hard and you play well. And regardless of any other outcome, that's where you're going to gain the most just inner satisfaction that way. And our guys did that, and they took that to heart. And it's and yet who won it? They earned it. They deserve to be there. Both those teams, because it'd be Utah State and San Diego State. They deserve it.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Julia.
Coach, we talked about it earlier in the week. This is a team that had a lot of close losses. San Diego State by 8 points. You come out here and beat them by 34. So just how satisfying is that for this team?
I'll say this. I think these guys are going to be really, really good. And kind of what comes to mind a little bit, we played in 2019, we played San Jose State. And you thought, boy, they have some pretty good guys. They're going to be good players a year from now. And in 2020, San Jose State ended up winning our league in 2020. These guys are very, very talented. And they are all in when it comes to football, and we're all in when it comes to football too. So it'll be a good matchup next year.
And then the opening kickoff, how much did that just set the tone for your team moving forward?
Yeah, big plays. I mean, you think just the immense field position right away, and I think you're always counting possessions in your head. I mean, naturally you're thinking, all right, are we going to play 9 innings, 11 innings, or are we both going to get at bats? Because you are. And then all of a sudden, they lose an at bat and you gain an extra one. You like that helps the numbers in the long haul.
Good, Julia. Anybody else? Go ahead, Sam.
So you've had Matthew DePore doing most of the place kicking, much of the the season. And you also had Carson Bay doing some punts today. They're true freshmen, right?
They are. They're not redshirt freshmen. No, they are. They're true freshmen. Yes, sir. And what's neat, both those guys were guys that we wanted, and they had some other opportunities. And I'll tell you what really, really makes you proud is when you look at the halfway point of the semester, these are both guys that are really, really up there academically, which just credit to their diligence, their discipline, and their focus. And I think when you live that way, you just, when it comes to life, you don't do some things kind of sort of, and then all of a sudden you think, well, I'll flip the switch on. Just character-wise, that's who you are and everything you attack, and those guys have.
And to be able to get some of these younger guys some action, it's been a while since you've been able to do that, especially right before bowl practice where you will have a chance to develop some of those guys. What kind of value is that, especially with that timing?
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, this year we've had so many close games that we really haven't had that opportunity to play some extra guys. And I've always thought if you can have 2 or 3 games where you get in some other guys, where you really see the benefit is in the weight room in January and February, and all of a sudden I've been popped in the nose a couple of times. I realized, whoa, there's a reason why I need to back squat. Well, I got to be excellent when it comes to the power clean, and I think you have a more productive spring ball too. So hopefully that happened a little bit. You get your teeth rattled, you don't forget those. So and that did happen a couple of times.
I know, especially for the seniors, it's been a long time coming. Especially for us prep school guys, 5 years to get to this point now. It's just been a long time coming, and it feels really good. Especially go on to win on a night like this and gets a good team. So just a good night, good win.
5.5 years.
Yeah.
And to play like this, to get the early sack and the fumble and then get another sack, like how satisfying was it to close it like this at home?
I think it's a good way to go out. I can just give all the thanks to the rest of the defense and the coaches, the play calling, the way everybody else played to open up stuff for me. All I can say is thank you, and it's just been a blessing.
And how did you guys set aside the other results? Because obviously it had to have been disappointing right before this game to understand what was no longer at stake. But to set that aside and play like this, how did that happen?
We couldn't really pay attention to it before the game. We couldn't pay attention during the game. I actually didn't find out until right afterwards about all the other games. So it hurts a little bit, but those are the mistakes we did earlier in the year that caused us to happen. So we can't really look back at this. All we can do now is look forward to the bowl game and try to get another win.
So you really didn't know until after the game?
I actually had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then to find out that it's San Diego State and Utah State, the 2 teams that won here by 1 possession, does that make it more disappointing? Or is it like, that's the way things play?
This is a great conference. We play against great teams. Come to play. I can't say I'm too upset about it. Those are 2 good teams. It's going to be kind of exciting to see how they play next week.
Trey, what were the emotions like for you today?
At first you don't really notice it until you go out to the field for the last time and you go see your family at the end of the tunnel, and they have a wider view, so they kind of know what you've been through more so than you do almost. So like my dad was really emotional, and it really didn't hit me until they said that we were done for the game. So definitely emotional, definitely very happy that we came out with a win. So.
And what was the key to dominating the way you did? This is a good team, as you guys you talked about earlier in the week. To do this, what was the key to making that happen?
For us, defensively focused on, they have the leading rusher in the conference, so we needed to stop him right off the bat, and I think we did a good job of that. We kind of hurt ourselves with some mistakes early on, getting them across the sticks, but our offense, man, they held the ball forever. Like in the 4th quarter, they held the ball for 14 minutes and 30 seconds. Like that's almost unheard of. So just when your offense is able to hold the ball like that, it makes our job easier.
Anybody else? Go ahead. Yeah.
I know you guys said you didn't think or find out the San Diego State, Boise State score, but was that ever in the back of your mind at all playing today, or did you kind of just keep it out of your mind if possible?
You try to keep it out of your mind. We're all human, so I'm sure a lot of us thought about it like, wow, I hope Boise's winning right now. But yeah, just like JJ, I didn't know that San Diego State ended up winning until we got into the locker room. So definitely tough to not be going, but at the same time, we did that to ourselves kind of, so just got to take it on the chin.
I'm curious, you guys have obviously seen Zach Larrier in practice a lot. This is the first time we've seen him a lot in a game. What is he like at quarterback when you're playing against the offense?
He won the 200-meter Mountain West Championship, so, y'all saw his stride. he can open up. He can straight go. So we knew as soon as he saw some daylight that there was nobody on the field that's faster than him. So.
Anybody else?
Yeah, and then just one more. You guys were able to really just kind of pounce on them early, at least special teams and defensively. So how big was that jump for you guys just to set the tone of this? Trey or Jordan?
Huge. It was really big. Whenever you can play with the lead, it opens up your playbook. It opens up what you can do on defense to get some different looks. So definitely our special teams, we stress it all the time. Our special teams can really make or break a game. So they made it this game. So they did a really good job.
Is there pride in being co-champions of the division? Or is it just?
I mean, champions is in the name, so we gotta take some sort of pride in it. Just tough to not go and get a chance to win it. So.
I'm sure the game plan wasn't specifically don't throw a single pass.
Uh-huh.
But how much pride is there in being able to put up 500 yards of offense without throwing?
You take a lot of pride in that, being able to run the ball, and it feels good when you don't have to throw the ball and you can just get 6-7 yards a pop. You know what I'm saying, and keep going driving down the field. So.
Take me through your long run. Did you run out of gas a little bit?
So I actually told Ben Jefferson on that play. I was like, yeah, I got to break one. You know what I mean? And I broke it surprisingly or whatever. And then I'm not gonna say I ran out of gas. I think I just ran to the sideline too early. If I would have just kept it up the field, maybe I would have scored. But I'm not mad about it. We still got a touchdown at the end of the day. So, yeah.
What was it like on the offense with two quarterbacks rotating in, even within a series? That's obviously a big change. How did that impact anything?
I mean, it didn't really impact anything. Everybody was just excited that everybody was getting the love, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was Warren or it was Zach, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing, everybody was just excited for each other. So.
What does Zach bring with that? I mean, obviously he's a track champion, we know that.
Yeah.
What does that bring to the offense?
When there's a crease, he's going to hit it. I think that's what it brings. And he brings explosive plays and just a boost of energy.
And that first series, you guys got the fumble on the kickoff. And Brad, I think, ran all 3 times, all up the middle. What did that show you guys when you saw that the middle was going to be there today?
We just can impose our will on people, and it's a good feeling. And when you give it to us like that, you know what I'm saying? We kind of know how the rest of the game is going to go.
Is this a stat sheet you're going to frame? I mean, you have 123 yards. Steve has 511 yards. All on the ground. I mean, that's a special.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's something we take pride in, and then that's what Air Force football is about.
Julia?
You said Hazik wasn't playing. He found out, this morning. So how was the transition easy switching between quarterbacks, just kind of going out there today?
Transitions was easy. All the quarterbacks get handoffs with all the running backs, whether it's the 1, the 2, or whoever. We kind of work all 3 guys in during the week at practice. So it's never like something new happening when we got a new quarterback in.
Anybody else?
How excited are you to find out what the bowl destination will be?
I'm ready for whoever and wherever. We're just ready to get it on.
Congratulations. I was asking Emmanuel, is this the kind of stat sheet you'll want to frame? I mean, with that many rushing yards, no passing attempts, to be able to beat a good team, that lopsided with the ground attack?
Yes, sir. The way we executed offensively, especially up front, it was great to see. It was also awesome to see the younger guys getting in. We haven't really had a win like this, and just to send the seniors out like we did, it was awesome.
And could you sense on that first drive, that short drive after the fumble, that the inside was going to be there today? Because there have been some games where obviously it's been tougher up the middle, but you had all 3 carries, scored a touchdown. Could you kind of sense?
Honestly, it's kind of hard to sense in the first drive, especially when it's a short field like it was on that one. I get better sense when it's like those long drives, just because our offensive line, we're in such great conditioning and we know how to run the ball. It's those long drives I can kind of feel the middle opening up a little bit.
And I assume this gives you the Mountain West rushing title. I mean, unless somebody goes for 300 or something. Is that a pretty cool sense of pride to take care of that?
It's definitely a cool sense of pride, but just very happy that we were able to come out with a win. It's a cool accomplishment, but don't want to do anything crazy with it or blow it out of proportion.
You're now, I think, 1 yard short of number 6 all time on Air Force's list, and obviously some other big names right up there ahead of you. Is that, now that you're just 1 game away from the end of the season, is that starting to sink in a little bit? this one's going in the history books?
I think a little bit. I'm not too worried about it just because the biggest thing to me is just being able to win, especially with the bowl game coming up. Hopefully we can get a good one and a good opponent and put on a show.
And so the two defensive guys said they didn't know the result of Boise at San Diego State until the end of the game. Did you know during the game, like what had happened and what that meant?
I did not know either, actually. I saw it on the scoreboard in like the fourth just because I was looking up and I randomly kind of saw it, but I wasn't really too worried about it. Coach said at the beginning of the week, it doesn't matter what anybody else does, it's what we want to do, and we wanted to send the seniors out right, so we tried playing the best we could this game.
To find that out late, did it detract from this? Was there some disappointment in knowing, yeah, you won, but now that was taken away? Like how did that?
I think there was a little bit of disappointment, but at the same time, we were in a game of our own, and we wanted to do the best we could, especially for those seniors. So just wanted to finish out strong, and I think we did that, and I think everybody's pretty happy right now.
Why was it important for you to send out the seniors the way you did? You mentioned that this was important, especially for your team.
Just the leadership that they've provided throughout the year for us. A lot of guys in the locker room look up to them, and we just didn't want to let them down, and that's basically it.
Brandon, Emmanuel, they broke off for some pretty long runs. You mentioned the guys up front earlier, but what just made it so difficult for UNLV to contain the running game today?
I talk about it a lot, just the different weapons that we have on offense. It's very hard to stop all of them. If you try and stop one, another's going to get loose. And big props to the offensive linemen. They created great running lanes, and everybody executed pretty well today.
And UNLV is a team that had lost some close games, and then you beat them by 34 points today. Is that just extra satisfying to get a win like that?
It is kind of satisfying. We haven't had really a big win, just a large margin. I feel like we've talked about it a lot. Second half, we haven't come out as strong as we were in the first half in a lot of games, and that was something Coach Calhoun talked about at halftime. We wanted to come out and make sure that we could finish the entire game, and I think we did that.
And you're wearing the Diesel hat today. Did you get that today, or is that from the?
I got it a while back. I think it was like 4 or 5 games ago.
So just wearing it today.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you actually take that with you, like when you travel down to the stadium, just in case? Or like what?
Yeah, I have it hooked on my backpack just because if we win or if we have another Diesel induction, we try and have the hats on us.
And what was the dynamic like with two quarterbacks coming in, even within a series, switching out? Did that change anything?
I don't think so. All the quarterbacks are prepared and ready to play, and when they were given their shot, I think they executed very well.
Was it cool to see kind of what Zach Larrier could do in a game? Because we hadn't seen that yet.
It was. As weird as it is, you see it all the time in practice. His speed is just awesome to watch, and I think he had a great game.
If you lose the hat, do you get another one, or you gotta keep it?
I don't know. I don't think anybody's lost one yet. I couldn't tell you.
Everybody good?
You have a preference on a bowl destination, or?
Not really. Just hope it's against a real good team.